Hi everyone, and welcome to our worship time assembly this morning. It's great to be with you again. Now, this backdrop may well give you a clue as to what it is we're going to be talking about this morning. Yeah, you've guessed it. We're going to be talking about remembrance and remembering. Okay, so we're going to be talking about both those things. And I thought we'd do that by playing a little game, a memory game, because I find that if I do something fun, it helps me to remember. And I thought it might help you too. So I'm going to show you a slide. And on that slide, there are, I think, 15 things on the slide. And I want you to remember them all. I'm going to give you a minute to look at it and remember. No cheating. You cannot write down what's on there. You have to remember. This is all about remembering, okay? So no writing down. Here's the slide coming now. You've got 1 minute. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the slide again, but this time there will be some things missing. And I'm only going to give you 15 seconds to work out what's missing. Okay, so here we are. Here's the slide with something missing. So did anybody get them? Yes, of course you did. Yeah, you're very good at this. Of course. So what was missing? Yeah, the birthday cake, birthday card, and the present. And what would those things remind us of? Yeah, birthday. That was just too easy, really, wasn't it? It reminds us of a birthday. But is it important to remember birthdays? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. It's important because how would you feel if somebody forgot your birthday? Or if nobody at all remembered your birthday? Wouldn't be very nice, would it? Remembering birthdays is really important because it marks another year in our life. And it's important to do that. Absolutely right. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the whole slide again with everything on. And then I'm going to show you it with some different things missing. See if you can work out what they are. But it's only 15 seconds, remember? Okay, so who got what was missing that time? Yeah, absolutely. It was the deck chair, the sandcastle with the bucket and spade, and the sunglasses. They were missing. And what does that remind us of? Yeah, absolutely. Reminds us of a holiday or a day out at the seaside. Yeah, it reminds us of being able to relax and have some fun, doesn't it? Is it important to remember those things? Is that important, or should we just forget them? No, it is important, isn't it? It's absolutely important. Why? Yeah, absolutely. It's important because it reminds us of having fun, relaxing, being on holiday and enjoying ourselves, reminds us of being with family and good times. And that's really important because sometimes life can be tough. And when it's tough, we have to remember the good times. Might not just be holidays, it can be all sorts of things. But we have to remember that there is sometimes good things in our lives that we need to hold on to. Okay, so of course. So let's try again. Here's the whole slide, and then you've got 15 seconds to tell me what's missing this time. So what was it? Yeah, absolutely right. The fireworks, the sparklers, and the banner that said Guy Fawkes, which gives it away really, doesn't it? So what were we remembering? Remember the 5th of November. Absolutely right. We were remembering Bonfire Night on the 5th of November. And is that an important thing to remember? And why? Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a point in history, isn't it? It's something that happened in history that we have to remember. Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament. We have to remember those things. We have to remember all sorts of things in history. That was just one that I knew you'd think about. But there's all sorts of points of history that we have to remember. It is important to remember what happened in history. Absolutely right. So, one more. Let's just see if you can get this one. I'm going to show you the whole slide and then take some things away again. 15 seconds. Are you ready? So what was missing? Yeah, absolutely right. The Christmas tree, Father Christmas, and the Nativity. Another easy one. What are you remembering? The clue, isn't it, is right there. It was Christmas, of course it was. Is it important to remember Christmas? Not just because you get a lot of presents, but is it important to remember? Why? Absolutely. We remember it because it's when Jesus was born, and we have to remember that. This year, Christmas will be very different because of the coronavirus. But we will still remember it because we will always have to remember that that's when Jesus was born. So we'll still celebrate and remember. It's a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So now I'm going to show you the whole slide again, and I'm going to take off all those things we've been remembering. I'm going to take off all the things about birthdays and holidays and Guy Fawkes and Christmas. All those things are coming off. And what are we left with? We're left with a poppy wreath. And does anybody know what that building is? What that structure is? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's called the Cenotaph. And the Cenotaph is in London. So what does all of this stuff help us to remember? Yes, Remembrance Day helps us to remember all those who went to war and who died. It started, Remembrance Day started after World War I because so many people died and people wanted to remember them and never forget what they had done. And so we have to remember them. We have to keep on remembering that there are people out there still fighting for our freedom. People who belong to our armed forces are still fighting for us so that we can be free. And we've got to keep on remembering it's really, really important. Usually on Remembrance Sunday, we'd have a big church service and we might have a parade. Now, are any of you part of any of the uniformed organisations like the Scouts or the Guides, Beavers, Cubs, yeah, Brownies? Absolutely. Have any of you ever been on a church service, a parade on a Remembrance Sunday? Yeah, and I'm sure some of you came to ours at Newsham last year. And the reason the poppy has become the symbol for remembering on Remembrance Sunday is because of all of the poppies that were growing in those fields during World War One when the fighting was happening. So it's really important that we wear our poppies so that people can see that we are remembering, because remembering is important. If we don't remember, then they'll all be forgotten. And that's not right, is it? What would happen if we forgot all our birthdays? We'd all be a bit miserable, wouldn't we? What would happen if we forgot about all those holidays? We'd have nothing nice to think about. Or Christmas. If we forgot what that meant, we'd forget when Jesus was born. Remembering is really, really important, and we must never, ever forget. Forget those who went out to war for our freedom. So I thought we might say thank you now. If you want to, you can join in with this. If you don't, then just sit quietly while everyone else does. So I want you to say after me, all right? Thank you, God, for all the men and women who died so that we can be free and safe. We will remember them. Thank you. Thank you for joining in with that and saying thank you. It really is important. Now this week we're not going to sing. We're going to listen to a piece of music, and this piece of music is called Nimrod, and it's a piece of music that gets used at remembrance services all around the world on Remembrance Sunday. So I thought we could listen to it, and while we're listening to it, I'm going to put the words of the Lord's Prayer up there as well. So I'd like you to say the Lord's Prayer while you listen to Nimrod. Well, I do hope you enjoyed our assembly this week. It was a little bit more serious because it needed to be. We have to remember those who died in war for our freedom. So have a wonderful week this week, and just remember to remember so that we don't forget. See you next week. Bye.